The Sveriges Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences, in honor of Alfred Nobel, commonly known as the Nobel Prize in Economics, is an annual award recognizing researchers for their remarkable contributions to the field. This prestigious prize places a special focus on individuals who propose innovative economic theories with practical applications in the real world. Originally, the Nobel Prize covered fields such as physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, and peace. Economics was a later addition, advocated by the Sveriges Riksbank, Sweden's central bank. Notably, the prize money for economics is funded by the central bank, while winners in the original fields receive their awards from the estate of Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite, who amassed his fortune through this invention. This year's laureate of the Nobel Prize in Economics is Claudia Goldin, currently serving as an economics professor at Harvard University. Her groundbreaking achievement lies in unraveling the complexities of gender pay inequality. The significance of Goldin's work extends beyond the accolade itself. It lies in her ability to approach the contentious issue with a level-headed perspective, devoid of excessive emotion. Her award-winning research meticulously gathers data from diverse economies and across various time periods, exposing patterns that challenge misconceptions surrounding the gender pay gap. By presenting a nuanced understanding of this issue, Goldin's work contributes to bridging gaps in the debate. Now, let's explore the economic revelations that secured Claudia Goldin this prestigious Nobel Prize. What common misunderstandings have clouded the discourse on this controversial economic matter? And perhaps most crucially, how might Goldin's research shape future policies aimed at addressing these challenges? Let's be clear. This video won't take sides in the ongoing debate about the gender pay gap. Instead, we'll approach it as a macroeconomist would, with a singular focus on understanding the dynamics of the labor market and striving to enhance the quality of life for all economic participants. So, buckle up for an unbiased exploration into the work of this year's Nobel laureate. Now let's address a fundamental aspect. Currently, in every economy worldwide, the combined earnings of women are consistently less than those of men. This isn't a new revelation, and on its own, it might not necessarily be viewed as a problem. A key contributor to this earnings disparity is the lower representation of women in traditional paid jobs. The Nobel Foundation's summary of Claudia Goldin's research underscores this point. Globally, approximately half of all women are engaged in paid employment, contrasting with a much higher figure of 80% for men. Goldin's research is not driven by a zealous pursuit of equality at any cost. Instead, its core objective is to ensure that an economy optimally utilizes its labor resources. The crux of the matter lies in understanding why women participate less and, consequently, earn less in the workforce. Goldin's work seeks to unravel the complexities of this issue, recognizing that if women are not afforded equal opportunities to participate in the labor market, or if they face unequal terms when doing so, it results in the inefficient use of potential labor and expertise. So, the real question and the heart of the controversy lie in understanding the reasons behind the disparities in women's participation and earnings. Addressing the question of why women participate less and earn less than men brings forth a spectrum of proposed answers. Some suggest that men tend to opt for more lucrative, yet potentially less fulfilling, dangerous, and stressful jobs at a higher rate than women. Others suggest that the difference arises from life choices, such as women opting to temporarily leave the workforce to raise a family, potentially missing crucial years of career development. Additionally, the argument that women are victims of systemic discrimination is part of the discourse. Amidst these considerations, there's also the factor of pure circumstance. In a somewhat tragic twist, this year marked only the third occasion that the Nobel Prize in Economics has been awarded to a woman. However, due to the declining value of the Swedish krona, the prize money was approximately 10% less than that awarded to male winners last year. When examining such issues, astute economists follow a systematic approach. They first evaluate whether the observed disparity is genuinely a problem, and then seek to identify its root causes. Determining the cause is crucial because crafting the most effective solution hinges on a clear understanding of the underlying factors at play. It's this rigorous analysis that forms the foundation for addressing complex issues like gender disparities in the workforce. Golden consistently underscores in her work that well-intentioned policy solutions, while aiming to address complex problems, can inadvertently exacerbate issues if they fail to accurately target the root causes. What sets Golden's work apart, making it worthy of the Nobel Prize, is her meticulous examination of data spanning various economies and time periods. In today's world, there are economies where women face significant disadvantages in earning power and other aspects due to cultural norms or legal policies hindering their education and career pursuits. In response to these challenges, Golden advocates for the obvious yet crucial suggestion: the removal of institutional barriers and substantial investments in information and education for women. Over time, she speculates that these measures can contribute to narrowing the earnings gap, even if complete eradication may prove vague. The emphasis here is on addressing the foundational issues that perpetuate gender disparities and not just implementing superficial solutions. Golden's insights extend beyond the basic narrative, particularly when examining modern advanced economies. In many of these societies, women already enjoy high levels of employment and, in numerous cases, surpass men in educational attainment, including higher rates of university degrees. In these scenarios, Golden highlights that applying the same policies advocated for in economies facing gender disparities could lead to detrimental outcomes for all participants, regardless of gender. When countries have established policies ensuring that pay is not based on gender, and there is equal access to democratic representation, education, and employment, pushing additional resources toward one gender can be counterproductive. It may result in wasted resources, or at worst, create misalignments in the labor market. To unravel the complexities of these outcomes, Golden turned to history as a rich source of data. Her groundbreaking contribution comes in the form of the U-shaped model, a paradigm that has reshaped economists' perceptions of how gender-based labor market participation has evolved over time. While she wasn't the first economist to study the gender pay gap, Golden distinguished herself by delving further back into history than previous research had ventured, providing a more comprehensive understanding of the historical factors influencing present-day labor market dynamics. Before Claudia Golden's groundbreaking work, economists typically focused on data from the 20th century onward, primarily due to the reliability of records during that period. The prevailing view was that economies before the 20th century didn't function in ways comparable to modern times. Golden challenged this convention, dedicating considerable effort to unearth sources dating back to the late 1700s and meticulously cleaning up historical records to align with modern datasets. One notable challenge she faced was the tendency in old census reports to simply list married women's occupation as wife, even if they were engaged in work beyond domestic labor. The conclusion of Golden's efforts revealed a U-shaped curve depicting women's involvement in the workforce over time. In the era before the widespread adoption of modern industry, women were engaged in agriculture at rates similar to men. This was particularly prevalent in basic or subsistence farming, where the entire family's full-time attention was required. Golden's work, therefore, not only extended the temporal scope of economic analysis, but also provided a nuanced understanding of historical trends in women's participation in the workforce. As the transition from farming to modern industry unfolded, women's participation in the workforce experienced a decline. This shift was influenced by a dual dynamic. On one hand, higher individual labor productivity reduced the necessity for women to work, and on the other, factory work became increasingly separate from home life, making it challenging to balance domestic responsibilities with a traditional job. Contrary to the assumption that pay equality was steadily improving over time due to societal progress, Golden's research revealed that gender equality, driven by discrimination, was notably low during this period. While men still earned more than women, the unexplained pay difference, accounting for factors such as productivity, education, and experience was lower. This was largely because, in most industrializing economies at the time, compensation was tied to unit output rather than a standard wage based on the number of hours worked. Factories were indifferent to who produced the goods, men, women, or children, paying based on the quantity produced rather than the hours worked. This aspect of Golden's findings challenges the conventional narrative of continuous improvement in pay equality and sheds light on the nuances of gender dynamics during the industrialization era. During this period, when work was predominantly physical, men, often larger and stronger, could produce more and consequently earned more. While this may seem inequitable, it was a result that maximized economic utility. Adjusting compensation to equalize pay per unit across genders could lead to unintended consequences. If women or children received higher pay per unit to compensate for men's greater physical output, it might discourage factory owners from hiring women, reducing both individual opportunities and overall economic output. Over time, this scenario played out. The participation of women in the workforce continued to decline as jobs evolved into more formal arrangements where workers were compensated for their time rather than their output. This shift was particularly evident in the expanding service sector, where individuals increasingly took on white-collar roles requiring education and substantial experience. As the nature of work transformed, the dynamics of gender participation in the workforce underwent significant changes, shaping the landscape that Claudia Golden meticulously uncovered in her research. In the early 20th century, Claudia Golden's research uncovered a surprising fact. More women than anticipated continued to work in manufacturing and agriculture. However, these industries were progressively diminishing in their share of the overall labor force, making way for the emergence of the job landscape we recognize today. During this transitional period, a noteworthy development occurred. With a decline in jobs reliant on physical strength, the explained earning gaps between men and women decreased. Simultaneously, the unexplained gap increased. Golden identified the cause for this shift. Pay structures in the new white-collar jobs were primarily based on seniority in the business, rather than individual output, which was more challenging to quantify than on a factory production line. In these roles, earning more was contingent on promotions, but women who took career breaks to have children faced difficulties catching up in terms of seniority. Even women without children encountered challenges as businesses hesitated to assign them to critical roles, anticipating the possibility of future family responsibilities. This insight from Golden's research sheds light on the intricacies of gender disparities in white-collar occupations during this transformative period. This cultural norm persisted, and women continued to dominate in more hands-on roles like nursing and teaching, leading to the perception of these fields as primarily for women. Claudia Golden's research revealed that this dynamic has gradually improved over time. Women are now more able to enter advanced professional careers, thanks to changes in family planning and evolving societal expectations that no longer view all women as ticking time bombs awaiting the arrival of a baby. One crucial policy suggestion arising from Golden's work is the recognition that pushing for equality at all costs, without considering the nuanced dynamics of different industries and roles, can lead to suboptimal outcomes for everyone involved: men, women, and the businesses they work for. This insight underscores the importance of tailoring policies to the specific challenges faced by each sector, acknowledging the evolving nature of gender dynamics in the workforce. Claudia Golden's research suggests that reactionary measures, such as mandating specific gender quotas for company leadership, may inadvertently lead to the kind of discrimination that economists seek to avoid in the labor market. Instead of introducing policies that could potentially create new barriers, Golden consistently advocates for solutions that focus on removing existing structural obstacles for women. She emphasizes the importance of addressing issues without imposing policy barriers for men. Recognizing that men and women may face distinct challenges, Golden's proposals, such as fostering more flexible working arrangements for everyone, work towards reducing barriers for women without restricting opportunities for any gender. A critical takeaway from Golden's work is the understanding that changes in the labor force take time, and any intervention should be approached cautiously and gradually. The full effects of such changes may take decades to become apparent. This cautionary approach is especially pertinent in an era of rapid technological advancement, where the impact of innovations like AI and advanced automation on the labor force remains unpredictable. Golden's research highlights the need for careful consideration and thoughtful implementation of policies to navigate the complexities of evolving workforce dynamics. Indeed, the ongoing technological changes, potentially as impactful as previous shifts like agriculture to industry or industry to services, bring a new set of challenges for policymakers. Claudia Golden's comprehensive examination of the past becomes invaluable in navigating these challenges and shaping effective strategies for the future. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, bye.